Hello, I'm Rick Hertless, founder of His Gospel Power. Thank you for joining with our program as we look into the book of Hebrews, chapter 6. We are in verse 9. We are looking at the last days through the lens of the book of Hebrews. We are. I guess this ministry, it takes on a lot of different faces, but here lately the face has been preparation, get ready. Church, it is time to get ready. We are seeing things happen in real time, and they are more and more and more. And it's time to prepare. If you are sitting back saying it's business as usual, which many churches, I've almost literally heard them say, if we can just get back within our four walls, then we will, it'll be business as usual. We'll be all safe and secure. And that nothing could be further from the truth. We will no longer ever be able to simply be back in our four walls. There are many states that may never get back in their four walls again. And maybe every state. We are heading into precarious times. And the first one to come under judgment is the church. The church is the first one to come under judgment. Why? Because we have sat back and done nothing. God says, to whom much is given, much is required. He has given the church much, and they have done nothing. They have allowed in this country, they have allowed prayer to be taken out of schools. They have allowed abortion. They have allowed homosexual marriage. They have allowed debauchery of all kinds, evil of all kinds. Literally, they have allowed treason as part of our way of life. They have denied the 10 Commandments. They are denying our laws. And so by denying our laws, they're denying the 10 Commandments, because our laws are based on Judeo-Christian values and on the Old Testament. So they are denying God at every point. We are in the last days. It is time to step up. There are some churches, there are some members, there are some Christians who are waking up, who are beginning to understand, wait a minute, these four walls of this building are not so important. But there are others. Let's get back within our four walls, and it's going to be business as usual. No matter what you say, you can't get them to understand. But what will happen is the circumstance will allow them to understand, because when the persecution absolutely hits, then they will be forced to wake up. Well, today we're in Hebrews chapter 6, verse 9, and it's kind of pointing at that same direction of what I am talking about. And it says, "But beloved, we are confident of better things concerning you, yes, things that accompany salvation, though we speak in this manner. For God is not unjust to forget your work and labor of love, which you have shown toward his name, and that you have ministered to the saints and do minister. And we desire that each one of you show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope until the end, that you do not become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promises." The only reason that we are withstanding like we have been is the fact that we are standing on the shoulders of saints, the founders of this country, who actually did listen to God and come to this country. Now, you might be those that are sitting there saying, well, yeah, but we came in and we stole it from the Indians. Look, we came and we brought Christ to the Indians. And so or to the Native Americans, however you want to say it. You can look at it however you want to, but we brought Christ to the Native Americans. Now, were we perfect and did it right always? No, that is not the case. There were many times that we have done the wrong thing in the name of Christ. I am not saying that we are infallible. I am saying that we did it for the right motivation, the right reason. We were spreading the gospel of Jesus. And so so what we're doing is we're standing on the shoulders of those who did that, and God has seen the good things that America has done throughout its life. But now the time is coming to a close, because we are his patience is wearing thin. In fact, I think his patience are almost out because we're no longer embracing the concepts of God. We are, in fact, denying God at most turns. Ron Stortle.
Well, if anybody heard me laugh, I'm sorry. When you were trying to determine what to call the people that were here first, I was chuckling to myself because now they call them First Nation people. So they always keep coming up with new terms for them.
I did not realize that. I do not quite understand. You know,
with anything, they just keep coming up with new terms. So when you were trying to determine what to call them, I'm like, well, now they call them First Nation people, which is probably more accurate.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, black people, I mean, those people that know Christ and those people that have a head on their shoulders, they don't care. I don't care what you call me. You can call me a honky. You can call me a cracker. You can call me white man. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And those who do not wear their feelings on their sleeves, it doesn't matter. But it's amazing to me. Way back in the day, they called them Negroes, and then all of a sudden they decided they didn't want to be called Negroes. Well, now listen. If you look around the world, I've traveled the world. Many parts of the world, black people are called in some form Negro because that word means black.
Yeah.
It means black. I mean, that is the word for black in many languages. In Swedish, you know, negro. It was spelled the same way, and it meant black.
Spanish is the same.
Yeah, and there's many others. It's the same thing. It means black. So it's like we don't want to be called black. We want to be called black. Well, that's really what they were saying. It's a funny thing, but what happens is the same thing that's happening to us right now. Is that somebody jumped up, called himself a leader, and said, well, now you can't do it the way you've been doing it. Now you have to do it this way because it's right to me. I don't care what was right to you. This is right to me. And so now, and then they convince you that it's right to and for you. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, you're right. Let's do that.
That's where we're on that. I just have one question for people to think about. If a black person is an African American, do South Africans fall into that category? Because most of them are light-skinned. Just think about it. Now, back to the scripture.
Well, I mean, and I don't want to beleaguer, I don't want to do this, just really draw this out. But at the same time, now all of a sudden I'm hearing, well, Jesus was black. Okay, I don't care. I honestly don't care. But
are Israelis black then?
That's the question I want to ask. Does that make sense to anyone? Because I've never seen. Now, that does not mean I've never seen a black Jew, because Judaism is just a religion. It's just like converting to a baptism or converting to an Assembly of God or whatever. Judaism is a religion. So a black person can convert to Judaism and call themselves a Jew. But it does not mean that they are of Jewish descent as far as physically or racially. So I just wonder how many black Israelites you see.
All
the ones that I see are white.
They don't even claim that. They don't claim anything. They don't claim to be black, white.
No, brown. I know that. They're Israelis.
Yeah.
And I realize
which is
that.
kind of racist in itself.
But my point is, why do you care? So in other words,
because you're racist.
If Jesus is white, if he's white, and you're black, does that mean now you should deny Jesus because now you're going to get to heaven, he's going to be white? And it's like, well, I don't want to spend eternity with a white man. My contention, now, I caught somebody off guard one day. It was a black man, it's a friend of mine. And I couldn't tell how he accepted this or rejected or what. His face was stunned, and he kind of almost took a step back. And it's like, well, okay, maybe I've stepped in it here. I like the guy. I like the man. But I said, I have some real bad news for black people. I mean, when it comes up to, or anybody for that matter, I said, when it comes up to the question of whether Jesus is white or black, the real answer is he's white. Because the magnificence of heaven, the bright and glowing is so bright and it's so white that the Israelites couldn't even look upon Moses when he came down without putting a veil over his face. Because God, he says that there is no darkness in him at all. So everything in heaven, there's not even going to be any shadows in heaven. So, but it's going to be so bright that really it's going to be colorless. That's the truth of the matter. But we physically describe it as white because it's so bright that it cannot be any other color.
You know what's funny? That reminds me of a science class, and I'm surprised no one comes back with this. In science class, they teach us that every color that we see is the colors that are not absorbed by the object you're actually looking at. So say I look at a wall and it looks white. That is because the white is reflected back because all the other colors are absorbed. So maybe they could take that and say, see, Jesus is actually black because all the white is reflected back at us, so he absorbed all the colors, so he's black.
Well, but science also says there's no such thing as darkness.
Oh, we're going off way too
I know,
far
but it's just funny. I mean,
No,
because
it
the
is
so-called science, it just doesn't add up.
No,
there's no such thing as darkness. There's only light. And what defines the fact that there is darkness is the fact that light comes in and illuminates it. It's very strange, but it's like there is darkness, though.
Oh, there is.
The darkness is going to be in a place called hell. And that is darkness. That's going to be something that people are going to find out what darkness is. There is true darkness. And, of course, it is the absence of light. That is the part that's true as far as science goes, because science says darkness does not exist. It's just the absence of light. That's what darkness is.
And we totally got off the topic of where I was going with this passage. Because
So
I have a good point to make with this passage.
We have a few minutes here,
I know.
so
I
go
looked
ahead.
at it and I'm like, I still got a few minutes. I actually have a point of this passage that I was trying to get to that I got myself off track. Okay. So verse 11 and 12. And the point goes back to what you were saying about churches. A lot of people are saying, if we just get back into our four walls, then everything will be fine. Well, my question is, what are you doing outside of those four walls? I think verse 12 says it perfectly. So that you may not be sluggish, but imitators of those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. What are the promises? The promises are being imitators of the examples of those in Scripture that were outside the four walls and what they were doing as a result. Doing the work. Now, it goes back to what you were saying you ended the program yesterday, preparing. Okay, I'm not going to say who I work for, but if you trust Jeff Bezos and Amazon to always have available to you Christian books, Christian manuals, if you trust Google and Facebook to always have available for purchase Christian books and reference material. I mean, we're sitting in your office. You have a wall of books. At my house, I don't have a library wall like you do, but I've got storage containers of books. I buy more books, Christian reference books, than I have time to read. Why am I doing that? Because I know at some point, these big tech companies, these big corporations that have no morals, they're pacifying you right now because they know they can get a buck out of you, which I'm not complaining because I'm giving them the bucks for the reference material I want. Today, I was telling you, I got Josephus's complete works from Amazon today. I am buying reference material as fast as I can afford it because I know at someday these non-believers are going to either be told or going to decide they're not going to provide it anymore. And where are you going to go? Bookstores don't exist anymore. Right. I mean, Barnes & Nobles, you going to trust them? Books A Million, do they even exist anymore?
I don't know.
They're going to stop.
Well, I mean, because of the COVID or whatever, they're not. Many of these places are not even open,
right?
And then of course they're going to use whatever excuse they can for them never to open again. So
if internet access to Christian reference material disappears, where are you going to get it from? I mean, we talk on the program preparing, gold, silver, food, water, planting your own garden, ammunition, firearms. But one thing I do, you gotta have material that you can still be an imitator with. Because we can't memorize everything. We don't know everything.
We use the Blue Letter Bible here. And I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a tool. It's on the internet. However, I still have paper Bibles.
Oh, I got a whole box of them. Yeah,
in my bag, in my get home bag and everything, I have a paper bag, a paper Bible in my bag. Eventually, to Christians for certain, this will all shut down.
And all you got to do is look at Germany.
Yes,
what was the name of the Nazi Party?
National Socialist Workers Party. What you're hearing is, Nazis, Trump's a Nazi. He's a nationalist. And that's just what Hitler was. No. Hitler was National Socialist Workers Party.
What is the Democrat Party today? Full of socialist communists.
Exactly. I mean, they are the Socialist Party.
Oh.
And so
I brought this up, and I just wanted to say, everybody pretty much knows Texas is the most patriotic state in the Union. I mean, some may argue, but for the most part, when you think Patriots, you think Texas. You know how much Trump won by? And Texas, nobody has proven anything as far as vote rigging in Texas. Right. We were
There probably was some, but it wasn't.
About as legit as you can get during this past election. He won by 630,000 votes.
Yeah. And there's 36 million people here.
So just think, if Texas goes Democrat, imagine where the nation's going to go. It's over. Yeah.
Because what do we have, 36 or 38 to...
total, I'm not sure. But
it's a lot.
Who cares? If you're not voting, you don't matter.
Right. Well, listen, if this... I'm going to say this last thing, and I'm going to close because we're out of time. If this election stands, then there's just about no reason to ever vote again.
And if
it's absolutely rigged, and they can do whatever they want to. It'll be even rigged even more next time. This Dominion software was created by Chavez so that he would never lose again.
And just think, even if Biden stands. And Trump says he's going to run in 2024, it's not going to matter.
No.
Because like you said, what if this stands, good luck ever seeing a Republican in the White House again.
Actually, good luck just seeing America again.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the time that we have. Please go to hisgospelpower.org and click on the donate button or the contact us button. Thank you for your prayers and for your financial gifts. Until next time, I pray you receive His gospel power today.
He died for you, He died for me. From our sin, He set us free. He loved us so, His life He gave. So if we ask, we can be saved. He's calling you, He's calling you. Jesus Christ is calling you. If He's touched your heart and soul, let Jesus make you whole. Come near with me, and we will pray.